Yo, 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 we live again, baby. We live, baby. Know what I'm saying? you know, one time for screw, you feel me? I gotta share these links. What's up, y'all, man? It's Sunday. We getting ready for the market for tomorrow. Here go Freya, my favorite guest. You know, my favorite little guest. She always gotta pop up. But yeah, so what we gonna do today? I'm gonna show y'all some chart secrets. Uh, so I've been using this strategy quite a bit lately, which is called supply and demand, and I'm gonna show y'all how to use supply and demand on the charts. But I'm gonna build my chart from scratch with y'all. I'm gonna build my chart from scratch with y'all, and I'm gonna show y'all how to add supply and demand. And then what we'll do is we'll go back. We will rewind the day, and then we'll see how on point I am. So usually I set my supply and demand off of the hourly, but today I'm gonna set it up off of the weekly, daily, hourly, and then I'll probably do like maybe a 5 minutes or something like that. So I'm gonna be showing y'all beginners guide Sunday chart secrets you want to know. Chart secrets you want to know. So yeah, when it comes to making money inside the forex market, it all begins with the charts, man. Price action, knowing price action, knowing what to do. LeBron, why you keep shooting dumb threes, boy? But yeah, it's learning price action and figuring out what your next move can be, or how to set up for the next move. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, make sure y'all follow my IG. I just created that page, so go follow me on IG at 2LittyLiving. Make sure you like, subscribe. You can also follow my personal page on Instagram as well, Cash2Litty. Uh, I'm not really heavy on Instagram. I don't like it, but I will be heavy on the business account or the trader account, 2LittyLiving. So I will be posting there pretty much every day, Monday through Friday for sure. Because usually weekend is supposed to be relaxed time for traders, and then Sunday you get ready for the next market day. So that's why I'm just showing y'all that schedule as a trader. But I want to do start. I do want to start providing more content, just to get the name out there, get the page going, get some subscribers, get some YouTube movement, some Instagram movement. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into it. All right. So what we have here is a chart from scratch. So this is what I trade every day. It's called US 30, also known as the Dow Jones. I'm pretty sure everybody heard of the Dow Jones at this point. It's like part of all the Fortune 500 companies. So you got the Dow Jones, you got the S&P 500, and you have NASDAQ 100. So those are the three main American indexes. They also have other indexes as well. Let's see if it'll show it on here. God damn it. God damn it. Damn. Dude. Yeah, it ain't showing it right now. But yeah, they have a UK 100, which is like a United Kingdom 100. So it's their 100 as well. Now, market is opening here in the next hour. So that's also why I'm getting the video ready as well. The market, it's like it's not the stock market, but for Forex is a little bit different than the stock market. Like I'm trading the stock market, but I'm trading what you call indice or indexes. So that's what US 30, S&P 500, and Nasdaq 100 is. It's basically the Dow Jones, S&P 500, and Nasdaq, right? It's the same ticker, same price, but it's just in a Forex form. So or so to say. And then they got ETFs as well, which is for stocks, which is your SPY, your QQQ, and I'm not sure of uh, what Dow Jones is for stock wise. But anyways, so what I want to show y'all today is how to build a chart from scratch. So as you can tell, this is my new chart, right? And this is my regular chart that y'all see me trading on every day. See how it's all marked up? I'm gonna show y'all how to do all of this inside of my chart, but I'm not gonna do as much because I don't want it as crowded. You know what I'm saying? I don't want a lot of action, a lot of stuff going on this chart because I want y'all to see everything. So, like I said, we're gonna start from scratch and get my pen and paper down because I'm gonna be doing some color coding today as well. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start on the daily, right? And right now we're looking at candlesticks. In order for me to get a clearer picture of what the market is doing, so I can make my markups, I'm gonna put it on a line chart. So we're gonna look at the line chart. So and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through all of these and I'm gonna set up resistance. I'm gonna set up resistance points. So pretty much the highest of each point. But what I want to do is I don't want to just get the highest because it's one, right? I want to get like this one, or something more like this, where it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Let me make sure I'm showing this right. Yeah. So what I want to do is I want points like that to where it's like more resistance points being hit. So I want those parts, like something like this, right? Where you see a lot of resistance resistance points in here. This would be like my next line, right? So for the daily, I'll be marking those resistance points as red. And then we'll do 4-hour, and I'll be marking those points as green. And also I want to do my supply and demand zones by colors as well. Supply and demand, but I want to do so for daily, I want to do a certain color. So for daily, I'm gonna just keep the same colors, right? So so this will be resistance for the daily red, 4-hour green, and then I'm gonna do supply, and that's where you'll see my boxes, right? So for daily, I'm gonna keep the box red. So therefore, when I'm looking at my chart, or whenever you looking at my chart, we can both tell what colors that I'm using for those time frames. Because like I said, whenever you're trading, you always want to be looking at each time frame. So you can look at the bigger picture on the daily, right? Or you can look at the bigger picture on the 4-hour, and then you can zoom on out. Then you can go inside of there and then look at the 15-minute and the 5. So I usually trade on the 5-minute because that's where I like, because it's very fast and I can scalp there, right? But I'll look at the 1-hour and the 4-hour and daily just to get a better eye view of what's going on. But what I want to try to do is that's why I'm trying some newer supply and demand zones, so I can like swing, so I can like be able to scalp inside, and then I'll be able to, whenever it goes up into the 4-hour box or my daily hour box or my daily box, right? I can swing that trade, and then I can hold the trade a little bit longer, and then I can get out of doing scalps. Because what I want to do is start lessening my trades, right? So right now I try to do between 5 to 10 trades a day. And usually if I make $100 within those, I'm good, right? But what I want to do is I want to lessen that to like 2 to 3. Lessen those to 2 to 3 trades. And then that way I can swing trade and I can make just as much, like $100, $200, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm holding it a little bit longer. But that's why I'm going to show y'all how to do these supply and demand zones. All right. So my supply and demand zone on the daily will be a red box. And then on the 4-hour, we'll keep that as a green box. And then for lesser time frames, we'll do different colors. So for 1 hour, I'm gonna do a purple box. All right. All right, so now let's get into the chart, right? So right here, this is what you call a line chart. All right, so this is a line chart. This is a candle chart. So the reason why I'm looking at the line chart is just to get a clear view, because like you see how this is much clearer, but if we look at the candle, it's a lot of going on, but I could still tell, right? But like it's just better to look at it as a line because you're on the daily, and then I can mark my zones, and then I'll switch over to the candlesticks to where you can see the candles, right? All right, so and also if y'all don't know, I'm on tradingview.com. I have an account with TradingView. I pay like $30 a month or whatever, and I can do as like many charts as I want to, and I can save them and all that stuff. So I definitely recommend y'all get TradingView. It's all part of the game, you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta spend money to make money, basically. You know what I'm saying? So all right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through here. So first point we'll check out. So this will be 1 right here. So we'll go ahead and mark that zone. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll go ahead and change that to red since we're on the daily. And then we'll scan on down. That's not enough. But right here, this is that zone that I was telling y'all about. Right here, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll scan on down further. And this right here. So this one got quite a bit, right? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then this is mighty close, right? So I do it like this because, like I said, it's all about chart history, right? So I'm doing all the way this all the way back from 2021, right? Because like I said in a couple of my streams, chart history matters, right? Whenever a chart does something, it always end up doing it again. You know what I'm saying? Like that's highly very likely. So that's the whole point of doing it like this, right? So so let's find our next zone. This will pretty much be our next zone right here. So this is mighty close, right? But and I'll just be aware of that, right? So we got 1, and this also ended up being support, so that's good. This still pretty much there. We can kind of bring this in the middle because so that they don't have to be pinpoint, but it's just to give you a general idea. So here we got a lot of areas, right? And this is pretty much where we are right now. So this is a perfect zone. So we got 1 for support, 2, 3, 4, pretty much 5, 6, and then pretty much again 7. All right. This one right. We'll slide on down some. We'll put this bad boy right here. Perfect. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, kind of 7-ish. That's fine. I'm gonna slide on down to the next one. We'll catch it right there. So this will be, look at that, support, resistance, pretty much resistance, support, resistance. And then we'll slide down to the next one. And again, we got resistance, resistance, support, support. And then we'll do like 2 more. So I want to catch this one right here because I see it and it's mighty close. So we'll just do like above here. We got resistance, resistance, some indecision, support, some indecision, and pretty clean from there. So yeah, the reason why I'm doing it like this, because whenever these zones hit here, they're most likely will hit the next one. And then if not the next one, then they'll go to the next one, you know? And see how it bounced all the way down here, and then it came back here, bounced all the way down, went to the next one, then it went all the way up, came back up. So same thing. And then we'll do one more. And we'll grab this puppy right here. And I'll put it a little bit above, so it's kind of in the middle. So we got resistance right here and support there. All right, perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. So now, since we did the daily, let's go on and slide down to the 4 hour. So now what we want to do is, so we did our daily, right? We marked all our daily zones, all our daily resistance zones. So we marked all our daily resistance zones, right? So now what we want to do is go inside of each zone and then mark up our 4 hour. So therefore we can find out our resistance points inside of the 4 hour, because the daily, bigger picture, 4 hour is a smaller frame. So now we want to get inside of those daily resistance zones, right? And figure out what's going on in between those. So let's go to 4 hour. And like I said, like I wrote down, this will be green. So the daily resistance is red, so that's why you see all the red here. And then the and then the 4 hour resistance are going to be green. All right, so shit. All right, so now we're in 4 hour, and then we go back to this little line here. So now we're gonna creep inside of it. All right, so we got right here, same thing. And then we're gonna change this to green. So we got resistance, resistance, support, support, resistance, and then resistance again. And this tried to get to it, but it didn't quite make it, which is perfect, right? So now we go to the next zone. All right, so we got resistance, 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 a little bit indecision here, a little indecision here. So it went through, and then it went to the next resistance line, and then it came back up. So that's why we want to get inside of those candles. And what you don't have to do, you don't want to put too many green lines inside of the red, and then you get all mumbo jumbo and get a bunch of gumbo inside of there, right? So some areas, like maybe this one, we'll probably put 2, but for the most part, it'll just be 1. So same thing for the next zone. And I'm calling these zones because inside of the red lines, this would be like my zone 1. This would be zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, zone 5, zone 6, zone 7, zone 8, zone 9. So whenever I'm trading, right? Like, so right now, this would be zone 4. So right now we're in zone 4. So whenever I'm trading, I'm aware of, hey, we're in zone 4. In zone 4, we get a lot of up, down, and then we'll kind of come back and decide what we're going to do. So therefore, I'm just aware, because see, zone 4, same thing. Same thing, you know what I'm saying? Up, down, up, down. This goes up, then it comes down. And see, it went past the resistance a little bit, but it didn't quite make it to the next resistance line. And then it went down, and then it went further, then dropped all the way down, right? So that's the importance of having these zones. So whenever you're trading, you can kind of tell what zone that you're in, so you can figure out your trading plan while you're inside of that zone. Because basically, while we're in zone 4, it's basically good enough to say, hey, we'll dip inside of zone 3, but it really hasn't reached outside of zone 3 very much in the past since September of last year. So we can keep that awareness to take a bigger trade later. You know what I'm saying? All right. So back into zone. This is actually zone 4 right here. Perfect. So since we got a bigger gap, we'll be looking for more spaces. And see, I see a bunch of support zones. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that there because I'm pretty sure it's going to end up being resistance as well too. So we got a little bit of resistance here, kind of support. It ended up being a support zone, support, 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 some resistance somewhat because it kind of goes up and down and then it goes reach to that next level. Same thing here. Here it passed through it and then went back down to it. Resistance here, resistance, and will pretty much be resistance, but it's like resistance points from the midway point from here. And same thing here, and this is where we are now. All right, so since we got a lot of space, we'll draw another one, and then we'll just keep that at 2. And see, I see my 2 resistance points here. So I got resistance, kind of not support, but it falls through there, and that'll just give me a good idea that it'll go to the next resistance line. Resistance, 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 resistance. All right, perfect. So same thing for the next zone. And we'll go back to just one line here, resistance, support, resistance. So basically, right, so resistance will be the top of the candle. So whenever the candle hits there, it normally resists that area, and then it'll come back down to the support area. So this right here, right? So this is resistance, right? It hits this area, and then it'll come back down into the support area. So the resistance becomes support, support becomes resistance, right? So it hits resistance, comes down to support, figures out it don't like that support area, so then it'll travel on down to the next support area. But we also got this inside of here, so while we're trading, we're seeing that if it goes through here and it stays below that, then we'll know for sure it's going to go to the next line, or at least try to get to that next line. And then while it's trading, we'll wait for it to hit that next line. And then once it hits that next line, and then it shows market doing like a little bit of, like a building base, it'll build a support base. Then we're like, all right, for sure it built a support base here. And now and then as soon as we get a candle once it break out of it, like if it break out of it going up or if it break out of it going down, we'll know what to do from there. So whenever it breaks out of that support, that building support, and then it goes up, then we'll know to start taking the market going up. If it breaks out of it and it starts going down, then we'll know to take the market going down. So I just wanted to share that with y'all as well. So here, it's a little ugly, but we got some support here. Resistance, resistance, resistance. Same thing here. Resistance. All right, that's cool, perfect. Because we ain't got much going on here. And then the next zone, same here, resistance, some support, support, resistance, resistance. And then last but not least, we'll probably put 2 inside of here, both support, all supports. Let's slide over, see if we see some resistance. Nope. So same thing here. You probably put it right there, because it's got a little bit of resistance right here, resistance, resistance, and also some support right here, also resistance as well here. All right, perfect. So now we're done looking at the line. So now we can go ahead and look inside of our candles, right? So now we're looking at the candlesticks itself. All right, so here is where I want to start building my supply and demand zones, right? So we're going to go into the daily and we're going to build supply and demand zones. So like I said, my supply and demand on the daily is going to be red. and my supply and demand on the 4-hour is going to be green. So so I'm gonna go here, grab this brush, and put a rectangle. So normally what I do for my supply and demand, I find the body of the candle where it ends, and then I go up to the wicks. But on the daily, you might see some wild looking wicks like this, right? So I won't take that whole wicks, but that's just to let me know that's a generalized area of supply and demand. So an area like this will become a supply zone. An area like this will become a demand zone. Or let's say an area like this will be a demand zone. So here, I'll draw that there. And I want to keep these kind of concise because I don't want them all over the place. So like I said, we'll change that to red. So this area right here is my supply zone. So I know whenever the candles start getting in this zone, it's pretty much about to, if it goes to this zone, and see how all of these candles, see how they all tap the zone, right? They go through my resistance level, right? Or my support level. And then they'll tap through, and then they'll get into this box. But see how each time it got into the box, it pulled out. So it came here, pulled out, came here, pulled out, came here, pulled out. And this is daily, right? So this was Monday, it came in there. Tuesday, it came in there. Wednesday, it came in there. Thursday, Friday. And this is in March. Yeah, April, right? Yeah, so this is March, right? So we haven't even hit this level yet. But again, but this is just to show on the daily side so I'll know, right? So this is all in March. But it did this for almost 2 weeks, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much 2 weeks. So hit that area. So that lets me know whenever it gets to this area, we can pretty much watch out because it comes up here. So this here was a supply zone in February. So, and this is where we are now. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw same thing. And since we got a lot kind of going on here, we'll just put it like that, right? So this is the new demand zone right here. All right, perfect. So like I said, we're just looking at the daily view right now. Got all my markings inside. And if you can tell, they all marked up perfectly, right? Even though we were looking at it in a different graph. We looked at it in a different chart. We looked at it on the line chart, but see how it matches perfectly on the candlestick chart. Cause see, I had this resistance zone right here. See how it all tapped the resistance, but they all danced off of it. It all danced off of it. So that's why I'm building this as a supply zone. Same thing here. It was dancing around this resistance zone. It even came up to tap the next resistance zone, and then it pulled back from it. So now I have this as my supply zone. So supply, demand. So I know once it gets up in here, the market starts supplying. See how it starts building itself, and then it figure out where it want to go next, and then it went down and traveled to the next resistance zone, came back up, tried to test it again. It was like, no, we're not having it, and then it came down to this area here. All right. So now let's go into the 4-hour. So now we're looking inside of this to figure out what the next supply and demand zone is. And we'll grab our box again. And we'll mark this as this will be a supply zone, or this will be the new demand zone actually. And we'll mark this as green. Because see, it came up in here, and then it built this. Came up in here, and then it fell back down to this supply zone or demand zone. Once it got demanded, price went up, and then it went inside a supply zone, and then it decided what it's going to do from there, and then it took off inside of there and went off. All right, and then we'll put another one. Since we got this area right here, so now we know this is our new supply zone inside of here. Now I could do one here as well too, cause see how this is, see how this came like that, right? And then see how the same thing, it did the same thing here. It actually did this right here. So see how this one moves up and then comes down. Did the same thing here, moved up, came down, but it stopped itself. It stopped itself. And that's why we put in this as a new supply zone, because it pretty much came here. Every time it came down, the market pushed back. Came down, market pushed back. Then right here, came down, market pushed back. So that'll be our new supply zone there. So now we'll grab a new box. All right, so we got those. And now let's look at the 1 hour. So now we can slide. Ooh. Ooh. We'll just slide this over, but I don't want it to be all the way. And same thing here, because now I'm looking for an opportunity, right? So now I know, since this is my daily chart right here, I know if it's anywhere in this zone, I can see it go into this zone, and I'll know, hey, this is where my bigger move can come, and I can actually hold that trade. I can hold that trade for a couple of days, and once it comes into this zone and figures out that it want to reject this area, then I'll know I can put into a trade here, and then it'll fall on down to my next daily zone area. And that's where we'll be able to recover like a lot of points, right? Instead of getting 100 points, we'll get 1,000 points, right? All right, so now we're in the hour. And like I said, we'll do these as purple. So we'll go ahead and draw that there. And this will be purple. So I got these areas to catch bigger plays, right? To catch bigger plays. And then I got these to catch my smaller plays. All right, so this will be the new support zone, since that's the lowest that it went to. And then we'll have another one inside of here. All right, so now once I know, so see how it came into this area here? It came into this area, denied it, came back up to resistance, pushed back, and then it came. This candle actually pushed all the way down here, and then it pushed back up past resistance. So once it would have pushed past resistance, I'm already knowing, all right, this candle's going up. The next one's going to be up, because see how it pulled back very, very strongly from that supply zone. And then it went up to the next candle, and then the day ended, right? So now we're going to be looking for it to touch this area, which so happens to be my daily area as well. Ain't that something, right? So now I'm seeing like, okay, my daily is matching up with the new area here, right? So that's good for me, because I know this could be a bigger play, right? So I can actually put in a trade up here if it stays in this zone, and then if it comes to this zone like it did here, right? If it comes to this zone and then it decides it goes down, and then it'll shoot down and shoot down and shoot down, I can just stay in that trade, and I won't even have to touch the trade. I can just hold that trade. I'll put my stop loss into, once it But so in order for it to hit this zone, I'll have to see it get to my next hour zone. If it gets into this zone, then I can just go ahead and put my stop loss to like break even or something like that, right? Because all I'm trying to do is see, hey, I'm trying to see if I got a bigger play inside of there. And while I'm playing that play, I could still scalp as well too. All right. So like I said, so we got this area here, which so happens to be my daily area as well. So that's good. That's perfect that they're both kind of lining up. And then we'll come down to so once Monday, we'll see what the market does. It probably tries to push back upwards into this area and then see if it want to stay in this area. And we'll be able to tell if it's going to, because it's pretty much, that's a solid area. The next area for the daily will be somewhere around here. So they'll have to come all the way up to 34.5. But we'll just keep it simple for now, and we'll just see if it comes up into this area. And then once we'll figure out if it's going to stay in this area, if it's going to come above. If it comes above, then we'll start. We'll just go back into the chart, and we'll figure out what's going to happen next, right? All right, so back to the hour. So that's pretty much setting up supply and demand. So I'm gonna just be using y'all. I'm gonna use this chart. Y'all see it tomorrow. But let's back test, right? Before we jump out of here, I want to show y'all some back testing. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take the chart and I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna rewind it to see how it hits the areas. So I'm gonna show y'all how it. So I set up all the areas, but now I want to see if I did them all correctly. All right. And y'all can also get a good view of what's going on how the market goes on. All right. Whoa, buddy. All right, let's see. So let's press play, and we'll put this fast. Put it at times 10. So now we're watching what the market does. So see how it builds inside of this support zone? This is the very saucy part right here. See how it builds inside of there? It just keep touching inside of there, keep touching inside, and then it decided to go up, and watch it build the new zone. Look at that. See how it built the new zone? Came back, built inside that zone. Look, man, that was perfect. That was perfect. So now I know I'm spot on. Let me show y'all that again, man. Let me show y'all that again. So we're gonna hit replay. So this is how you know if you are spot on with your predictions. So let's press play. So see how it builds inside that area, comes down to resistance zone, taps into this support zone here. Kind of builds there, built inside of there. Look at that. Goes through resistance, goes through resistance, goes through resistance, and watch it come on down. Come on down to that area. Stays in there, builds my support right there. Builds support. And goes up, and then watch it build into the next zone. Look at that. Comes up to that area, comes back down. Perfectly, man, perfectly. So we got a little couple areas here where I can go inside and see where the market kind of built up. And then I can do my 1 hour. I can do the same thing that I did with the 4 hour and the daily. I can do the same thing, right? This is important stuff, man. This is important stuff. This is how you predict what's going to happen next. And then you'll back test it to make sure that you were right. So I was pretty much spot on all of my predictions for all of my areas of support that I built. They all hit. So, and you can just look at the chart and see that it all hit. And this was perfect, man. I loved how this one did. It just stayed inside of there, then went up, then decided to build support there, came up, and then built support inside of there. And look, it should be going back up to here. If not, then they'll just come back into this area. And then I'll know for sure if it comes into this area, most likely we'll wait for it to break out of what we'll do, we'll wait for it to build inside of here, just like it did in this one. We'll wait for it to build inside of there, and then it'll break out of it. If it breaks out of it, it'll come up here and try to build this next little area, or it'll come down here and build inside of this area. If it breaks out of there, then it'll go out of there, and then I'll know for sure it's coming down here. But once it breaks through this zone here, I can go ahead and just leave my trade open. And then this would this would be my take profit zone 1, and this would be my take profit zone 2. Because it hasn't gone lower than this, so this would be my second take profit. But if it just shoots down from there and on and goes into the next area, perfect, right? That works out best. But this is just a video to show y'all a couple of chart secrets. This is like important stuff that I want y'all to see and to know. I hope y'all liked the video. If you did, make sure you like I said, go check out my Instagram, 2 Litty Living, and also Cash 2 Litty. Thank y'all for watching the videos with me today. I hope that y'all learned something. It's your boy 2 Litty, and I'm cashing out, man. Let's get it. Let's go.